What's up, Rito? Shade Tree Surgeon here. If you've ever wondered what it's like to drive a 50-year-old Winnebago hauling a 40-year-old Goldwing on a 2,700-mile trip, I'll tell you this, it ain't for the faint of heart. The better question is why, and such is the duality of man that I simultaneously had no idea why, while also being completely convinced that it was 100% necessary to do so. 200 miles into the trip, I lost power steering, which unfortunately also controls the power brakes, and if anyone out there has ever driven an old box truck with four-wheel drum, non-powered brakes, and no power steering, you know it is possible, but you gotta be on your toes. I pushed on. My only backup plan was if the Winnebago tried to kill me, I would simply shoot first. Anyone who drives a large vehicle will already know that people in cars will pull out in front of you in a heartbeat, terrified at the thought of being behind a vehicle that might accelerate slightly slower than them. Personally, I'd be way more terrified about pulling out in front of a 6-ton trap house on wheels that I paid less money per pound for than discount dog food, but that's just me. I stopped counting how many times I broke down at 22. The second day on the road, it took me 19 hours to travel 200 miles. Every time I had to remove the doghouse to access the engine, it also required me to remove the front seat, and there was a stretch where I had to do this about 6 times in a row every 2 miles in order to limp to an auto parts store where I was only hoping they might have what I needed to fix the RV. I ended up breaking down again about 60 miles from the closest town on a state road in Mississippi and ended up unloading the Goldwing to make the 4-hour round trip to a very strange auto parts store in Jonestown. Thankfully, those parts got me back on the road, so I crossed my fingers and pushed on once again. I am leaving a ton out here. If I was to tell the story blow by blow, it honestly sounds unbelievable even to me. So once again, why'd I do it? Sometimes I just get the urge to step in front of the bus just to see what the hell happens. I was completely alone driving a 6-ton vehicle with no backup plan besides a 9mm and a motorcycle on a trailer. When there's literally no other option besides getting it running again, you find a way. Sitting inside this thing in the middle of nowhere with no cell reception and a motor that's puking coolant like a cheerleader full of Jägermeister, you gotta start thinking around corners. There had to have been half a dozen times on this trip where I sat down inside this thing and just stared existentially out the window for about 20 minutes thinking I had exhausted every single option available and I should just give up. Problem is, there ain't nothing to give up to. So I'd slap my sorry sniffling ass back into reality and start figuring out yet another solution. Hope is a deadly weapon, and I wielded it like a submachine gun on full auto in the hands of a chimpanzee, and every time I managed to get that sucker to fire up again and move under its own power, hope would flood back into me and be just as gung-ho as the first mile I drove, and that, my friends, is very addictive. So why? I'm still not sure. I just know that jumping out of the plane without a chute of my own free will, trusting myself that I'll figure out something in between there and the dirt, that kind of gives me the fizz. It scratches some undefinable hindbrain itch that I can never quite reach when things are smooth and easy. Was it stupid? Yes. Did I die? Nah, not this time. Apparently God still loves an idiot, and I once again did not learn my lesson, because learning is for nerds, so miss me with that shit.